Well, if anybody wants to get another blanket, it feels chilly in here, doesn't it? Feel free. Um, let's all kind of take a deep breath if you want to stretch a little and kind of look around and smile at someone. We have pretty much almost a full room. This is really exciting. People are trickling back and new people are coming, and we're really happy. Every single one of you are supposed to be here. And we're all really glad you're here. So, Thea, you can pass out the cookies and tea now. Oh, I forgot to ask you to bring them. So I want to you to imagine that you're having cookies and tea for this talk that I'm going to give. So this is really just relax. This you don't have to cling or try to strive to remember anything. This talk is about staying inspired for your practice and for your spiritual journey. So it can get dry, it can get lonely, it can get the Dharma talks can feel like they don't really speak to your life, what's going on in your life. The breath can get boring. So I hope that I'm going to share some things with you that I hope are helpful. And hi, everybody. Um, so poems, readings, that kind of thing. And actually, I'd like this to be a little interactive if we can. We could go a little longer, not have the Q&A separate. So I'm going to invite you to share if you like. If you don't, no problem. So I'm going to begin with, and by the way, I want to say that on our website are resources. You go and click on the resource button, and books and magazines and Dharma talks, and there lots of sources are there for you. And for children's meditation, I was happy to see that. So I'm going to share a poem. And I want to say that it's called, some of you heard this poem I recited it a couple years ago on a retreat, but it's called maybe you know, My Brain and Heart Divorced. And in this reading, think of brain as the thinking mind and heart as emotions. So on our path, we think of heart as like wise and loving and, you know, a wise thing, not in this poem. Okay. So let's take a nice deep breath and relax. Actually, I'm gonna take a sip of water. My brain and heart divorced a decade ago over who was to blame about how big of a mess I have become. Eventually, they couldn't be in the same room with each other. Now my head and heart share custody of me. I stay with my brain during the week and my heart gets me on the weekends. They never speak to one another. Instead, they give me the same note to pass to each other every week. And their notes they send to one another always says the same thing. This is all your fault. On Sundays, my heart complains about how my head has let me down in the past. And on Wednesday, my head lists all the times my heart has screwed things up for me in the future. They blame each other for the state of my life. There's been a lot of yelling and crying, so lately, I've been spending a lot of time with my gut, who serves as my unofficial therapist most nights. I sneak out of the window of my rib cage and slide down my spine and collapse on my gut's plush leather chair that's always open for me. And I just sit, 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 sit until the sun comes up. Last evening, my gut asked me if I was having a hard time being caught between my heart and my head. I nodded. I said I didn't know if I could live with either of them anymore. My heart is always sad about something that happened yesterday, while my head is always worried about something that may happen tomorrow, I lamented. My gut squeezed my hand. I just can't live with my mistakes of the past or my anxiety about the future, I sighed. My gut smiled and said, in that case, you should go stay with your lungs for a while. I was confused. The look on my face gave it away. If you're exhausted about your heart's obsession with the fixed past and your mind's focus on the uncertain future, your lungs are the perfect place for you. There's no yesterday in your lungs. There's no tomorrow there either. There's only now. There is only inhale. There's only exhale. There's only this moment. There's only breath. And in that breath, you can rest while your heart and head work their relationship out. This morning, while my brain was busy reading tea leaves, and while my heart was staring at old photographs, I packed a little bag and walked to the door of my lungs. Before I could even knock, she opened the door with a smile. And as a gust of air embraced me, she said, "What took you so long?" So, kind of straightforward, right? So, did anybody have one or two breaths during your meditation where it felt like there was some quiet, there was some ease, maybe more than one or two? So I think it's just a sweet little reminder that the breath is a really gentle, nice place to rest and to let the other parts of us work it out, right? Anybody want to share an insight on that or anything? Anybody relate a little bit? Hmm? Um, yeah, actually, that is by John Rodell, Roedel. Yeah, afterwards, if anybody wants to know, I'll give it to you. Yeah, when you're aware of the breath. Mm-hmm. Yes, right. Okay, so what's your name? Maureen was saying that the only time she is not thinking is when takes the stops and takes a deep breath, and she's aware of the deep breath in and out. In that moment, she has a break from thinking. And she says, then, right after that, it's back. But we can sustain those periods. And because the idea is to sustain our awareness, breath or body awareness all day long. While we're walking, while we're eating, this is not just something we do while we're on the cushion. That's our training period. But really, we want to live with this awareness, with presence, with being present, not caught up, lost in thought, stressed out, believing our emotions and thoughts. So great. Okay, this one you might have seen pop up in Insight Timer, is where I saw it. And I'm going to get some assistance from my trusty speaker because this is going to be read. Hello. Read by, it's a poem called She Let Go by Sapphire Rose. I'll tell you the name of the reader. Just a moment. It is read by John Sadiq. And it's just, again, the poem She Let Go.
Without a thought or a word, she let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgments. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons, wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry. She just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all the memories that held her back. She let go of the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her day timer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she should let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. A small smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her. And the sun and the moon shone forevermore.
You know, take a nice deep breath after that one. So I have found that it's a little easier to let go than it was 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or last year. As we continue, because what are we letting go of? Is letting go a big part of our journey here on this path? Because what's the opposite of letting go? Clinging. And what does clinging create? Suffering, stress. And what did the Buddha teach? One thing, right? Suffering and its end. So I just think, these are just little ways to inspire us. Because can anybody here make a big ordeal of things? Is it just me? Do we have to get the committee and get the whole, all that? Okay, good. Well, any comments? So that is Sapphire Rose. You can Google it. She let go. And again, afterwards, if anybody's interested, I'll give you that. So we're gonna take a little switch here now. I'm gonna read you 2 paragraphs from this. You guys have been hearing about this book for years and years from all the Dharma teachers. It's a little pocket book that is just an absolute gem. It's Bhikkhu Bodhi, who's a highly respected scholar, monk, The Noble Eightfold Path, Way to the End of Suffering. And what I want to read to you that I'm excited about is the first 2 paragraphs of the book. Just see how it lands on you. Again, relax. Whatever lands, it's all good. No clinging, no suffering. The search for a spiritual path is born out of suffering. It does not start with lights and ecstasy, but with the hard tax of pain, disappointment, and confusion. However, for suffering to give birth to a genuine spiritual search, It must amount to more than something passively received from without. It has no trigger. It has to trigger an inner realization, a perception which pierces through the facile complacency of our usual encounter with the world to glimpse the insecurity perpetually gaping underfoot. When this insight dawns, even if only momentarily, it can precipitate a profound personal crisis. It overturns accustomed goals and values, mocks our routine preoccupations, leaves old enjoyments stubbornly unsatisfying. At first, such changes generally are not welcome. We try to deny our vision and to smother our doubts. We struggle to drive away the discontent with new pursuits. But the flame of inquiry, once lit, continues to burn. And if we do not let ourselves be swept away by superficial readjustments or slouch back into a patched up version of our natural optimism, eventually the original glimmering of insight will again flare up, again confront us with our essential plight. It is precisely at this point, with all escape routes blocked, that we are ready to seek a way to bring our disquietude to an end. No longer can we continue to drift complacently through life, driven blindly by our hunger for sense pleasures and by the pressure of prevailing social norms. A deeper reality beckons us. We have heard the call of a more stable, more authentic happiness, and until we arrive at our destination, we cannot rest content. So thank you for hearing that. It's two of some of my favorite paragraphs on the planet. Okay, so I do like that he speaks about, stress and suffering really bring us to seek and to discover and to have the energy to practice and to show up. And as we become more and more sensitive to what is true in us, in our hearts and minds, and in our suffering, we're motivated day by day. And the more we practice, the more we want to practice. The more we know our stress, the more we want to train in ways of responding. So I hope that was inspiring. So this is a poem now. We're going to lighten up again a little. Bhikkhu Bodhi, he's not light, but he's wonderful. So this is a favorite of mine. It's The Summer Day by Mary Oliver. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who's eating sugar out of my hand, who's moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who's gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? So I hope that Well, for me, that really brings me to paying attention. This world is miraculous. It really and truly is miraculous. And we can miss it. We can be so busy, we can just charge through our lives and miss it, right? But on this path, don't we learn how to stop? We're learning how to stop. It goes against our culture and in many ways our nature, especially some of us. So I hope that inspires you to slow down. Stay with it. I guess I'm just gonna share. Does anybody have any comments? Okay. I know, it's like, what am I gonna comment on? I'm going to share, this is a classic. And it doesn't matter how many times you've heard The Guest House. It doesn't matter, it's never enough. So this is a poem by Rumi, and it's really about, we don't choose the thoughts that arise. Do you notice that in meditation? That you just, okay, now it's this, now it's this, now it's this. But we're training in how to respond. And remember, the cause of suffering is clinging, craving. The cause of non-suffering is non-clinging, non-craving. That's how we release our stress. So this poem is about the human mind and just letting everything in, not craving for it to be different, but just allowing everything to be here. So The Guest House. And by the way, this is 1,300 years old, these words. This is when Rumi wrote. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So I just also want to say that everything is the Dharma. So all day long, you can see the Dharma. You can see the Dharma in your favorite Netflix shows. You can see the lessons, greed, hatred, and delusion right there out of the gate. That pretty much covers Netflix. So notice, and stay inspired. The most important thing, the most important possession we each have is our state of mind. I don't know who said that, but somebody did. The most important possession is my state of mind, yours. So thank you for listening, and I hope you juice yourself up even more and get inspired.